So then, we get ready for a brand new era of Trans Am and a brand new decade of racing. 54 years in the making. It doesn't get any better than that. Joe Stevens alongside me, and we'll get some great drone shots here from above. It's nice to see Sebring from above. It looks pretty, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I don't think we could have better weather than we do. The new SVRA app in the live stream that's on it is really unmatched worldwide. The lights are off on the pace car, and we are about to go green.
Yes, as you can see, this is the long shot from Sunset Bend looking down the main back straight.
This is one of the most intense times to be behind the wheel of a race car. We're about to go green. We are about to be door-to-door for 100 miles, and there is some serious performance on track.
Plane flying in the background.
Exactly right.
Added just on cue. But you're right, this is the time where you really have to shake off any of the rust that you may have had in the winter season. And look where Chris Dyson is at the back of TA after that massive smash at this corner, turn 17.
Exactly right. Some failure in the rear of that car set his qualifying to 0, but he's ready to race, and we're about to go green.
Here we go then, folks. We're off and running for 2020, and a great start from Amy Ruman. Ruman gets a flyer in the Corvette in the all-red McNichol's car, number 23. And she almost takes the lead, but it is the breathless new paint scheme of Ernie Francis Jr., who just jinks in. He didn't get the best rolling start, and Andretti slots into third place as they dive into turn 2, and we can see them coming through now. The field's spreading out, and already building on that lead, Ernie Francis Jr. as he goes through the S's and heads down towards the bridge for the first time.
That's right, turn 7, these guys are going really fast, and Adam Andretti is all over Amy Ruman in the 23. Those guys are going door to door, and we might see a late move here under brakes with Adam. Oh, lock up, Adam, lock up big time.
Well, Adam's had a few issues over the weekend. It's not been plain sailing. The new paint scheme, as well as just getting everything sorted out. He had a wonderful weekend at COTA last year and then finished off the season at Daytona, as they all did. But as we look down towards the back of the circuit here, down the Fangio run, towards the back of the Sebring circuit, wonderful pictures. An overtake there. I think that is Chris Dyson already making some places up as we go back with Andretti in the number 43. John Andretti on the car, but it's Adam at the wheel. Adam putting out a lovely tribute to John this weekend, and he would love nothing more than to finish on the podium.
That's right, the ECC car. It's a Poncho Weaver chassis, and it is extremely strong. Actually, Adam Andretti's qualifying was set back because he was only running on 7 cylinders. A plug wire issue, electrical issues have plagued that car up until now, but he certainly has the pace to catch Ernie. Ernie's got quite a bit of a lead, but here comes Adam, and Amy is not far behind. This is going to be a great race, and we're only on lap 2.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. You forget just how many. I mean, Amy Ruman is such a successful driver. She's not been in the doldrums, but she's been disappointed with herself over the last couple of years. 2-time champion of Trans Am. And look at Chris Dyson
Here we go.
Wow, the number 20 is siding through the field. He said he was on a mission. The man who got second place here, he had a massive smash at turn 17 last night, and the car was a write-off.
It looks like, what do we have at the back there? The Lucas machine making a move as well. Tommy Dreesy
is
2
Dreesy.
cars on 17 through turn 1, and he's following Dyson closely as Dyson makes a move around Simon Gregg into 3, and now it looks like Amy Ruman is in his sights as he tries to push to the front.
This is a fantastic start to the race. Yeah, we knew it was going to be interesting. If you saw the social media interview with Ernie Francis Jr., he was surprised as everybody else because Chris Dyson was out and Dreesy was out. Dreesy did 1 lap and was going to be on the front row, but his transmission blew. So they put a new transmission in it this morning, and look at him fly now. So it's fingers crossed, but Dyson is absolutely hoovering him up.
Dreesy and Simon Gregg are right door-to-door there through 7, and Dreesy gets around him. Now he's trying to follow Dyson, who is increasing the gap, but he's got a while to catch Ruman and even longer to catch Adam. It looks like the cars are following single file right now. We'll see what happens.
So there you see your leaderboard after 1 lap. Chris Dyson already up to 5th place. Tommy Dreesy in 7th place and just 5 seconds off the lead. Kerry Hitt is one of the men he's gone past. Richard Grant, John Levy, and so on. They are just scything their way through. What a great start to the 2020 season. And remember, folks, there's a reason why we're here. 54 years ago, not to the day, but not far off. This is where Trans Am began, and what a way to start the live streaming and a real new look to Trans Am and SVRA. Planes flying in, cars to the left of us, jokers to the right. Here we are, stuck in the middle, watching a fantastic race here. Well, it's Ernie Francis Jr., the 6-time champion at just 23 years of age. Somebody's gone off with the dust.
Somebody's gone wide a little bit in 16, but they're carrying a lot of speed, and Adam Andretti looks to be reeling in Ernie. I'm not quite sure how hard Ernie is pushing right now. It'll be interesting to see his long race pace, but Adam is certainly charging after him, and Amy is holding her own, but Dyson reeling her in bit by bit. We might see a move into 1, if not certainly into 3.
Joe, we saw Ben talking to Chris Dyson, who we're looking at now, and obviously the number 8 of Tommy Dreesy. But the question is the same for both of them. They're pushing so hard now to get to the front. Is Ernie in an advantage here because he's got a smooth pace, he's got a smooth rhythm, he's in the zone? How much tire wear will they take up on pushing like this?
Well, there's a lot that goes into that. Obviously, it's a lot easier on the car and all the mechanical bits to be up front in the fresh air. These guys in the back, they've got to charge to get up there to try to fight for the win, and that's what they're going to do. The tires can take it. Pirelli has done an amazing job, creating this high-performance, really safe, reliable, and consistent tire. So it'll be interesting to see, but these 3 are going to be charging hard. You can see the battle going on.
They're down in the pit lane. Anxious moments for them watching on. And everybody looking at the timing and scoring and seeing where they are, because the battle is really on now.
Yep.
A battle royal for 3rd place. And here is Amy Ruman in that Corvette, in the famous number 23. She's been carrying those numbers and those colours for McNichols for many years now, and likewise for the last couple of years, Chris Dyson with the Plaid sponsorship, and very proud to be carrying that. But we have an almighty battle on now. And the good thing is, now we've got a real race on our hands, because without being rude to those that they've just passed, now they've got a real race on their hands, because Chris is not going to, or Amy's not going to let Chris pass easily, is she?
No, not at all. And TA cars at some point are going to start getting into the other classes, and that's going to create, another dynamic amongst everything else that's going on. So it's an extremely tough time right now for those 3. Amy's got some big pressure, and it looks like Dreesy might be popping out here for 17 to make a move. Comes back in.
Yeah, his next opportunity may be up the inside of 1. We'll get a look at that as he comes out of Sunset and onto the main straight again. He is lining himself up. Next opportunity is at turn 1. At the moment, Amy's got a little bit of breathing room, but not much. Dreesy jinks to the outside. Dyson to the inside. He knows he's got to go and make a move now on Amy, and he makes his move. Brilliant stuff. And the flames fly for the number 20, Chris Dyson, as he makes his move on Amy Ruman, knowing that Dreesy was coming, and Dreesy was coming quick. But that is good stuff by Chris Dyson as he goes up the board and makes up another pace. And you can see in the pits, they're enjoying that every moment.
Yep, everybody's watching the new live stream that can be found on the SVRA app. You need to check it out. This is a great thing that was brand new for 2020 and beyond. SVRA and Tony Perella and John Cleggan have done an amazing job. And here comes Tommy Dreesy, tucks it out, pulls it back in. He's going to take his time in 7 this time. And Dyson's not really checking out. Amy Ruman has not really let him pull away, and she's really in a tough spot now. She's got to trace down Dyson, but she's also got to keep the car number 8, Lucas, slick miss behind her. This is tough, and here we are with Ernie Francis Jr. and Adam Andretti also charging.
Yeah, I mean, we want to get some action from the XGT class and SGT class, but this is too dynamic right now because it's all happening at the front. Just to remind ourselves where we are, we're watching this battle for 3rd place. At the moment, it's Ernie Francis Jr. in the number 98 out front of Andretti in 2nd place. Then this battle, an almighty one it is, with Dyson still 3rd, but now the battle on for 4th place. And as soon as we get a breathing space, but it is breathless at the front, quite literally, with Ernie Francis Jr. We're out of breath just watching him race. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, this is a great part of the track. Turn 17, you've got quite a bit of bumps coming through here. It's a high G turn, very, very fast. You're quick to get back to the throttle as you run underneath the bridge. Here we see Dyson and Dreesy again making a move on Amy Ruman, and it looks like this time it might stick.
That's a nice move. That's flat out through the 17 turn, and he's made it stick. And now he'll try and go back in pursuit of Chris Dyson. But look at Dyson, he's put out some good laps there in the last lap or so, because he's pulled away from Dyson, and now he's got some real work to do as now Dyson still in pursuit. But I wonder if Amy can come back from that.
Well, she's running a 2:04 her last few laps. She knows her car can do a 2 flat. But I think right now what she's trying to do is she's trying to keep the tire under her. She's trying to keep the brakes doing what they need to do. She doesn't want to push too hard. Dreesy and Dyson, they're not showing the same amount of patience, and it's a bit of a question mark on how that's going to work in 100 miles.
Yeah, no question about it. I'm looking down the field a little bit to see where the other battles are, and as you can see, Ernie Francis Jr., Adam Andretti, Chris Dyson, and Tommy Dreesy. That's all for TA, of course, and Amy Ruman in 5th place, Simon Gregg in 6th, and then a little further back hit. Masood is there. John Levy is 11th place. Yep. And we'll get back to the battle for the production cars.
And that looks like Sam Pierce in that LSI Performance Chevrolet Corvette hauling the mail.
And just in case you're learning our new graphic system, on the bottom obviously is our rolling leaderboard, and on the top you'll see in the middle of the screen there 60 minutes, and it's clicking down. That's because this is basically a lap race or down to the clock, so it depends which comes. So if we have a safety car, the clock will keep on ticking down, and when it gets to 0 we'll have the final lap as it ticks down. So basically it's a lap race, but it's also a time race, whichever comes first.
Exactly right. We've only got so much fuel. We don't plan on making a pit stop. If you do, it's not for a good reason, that's for sure. So we have the time up there, but we also have a certain amount of laps, or 100 miles, and that's how the sprint racing format of Trans Am works. And we can see another battle here. These three have been just stuck together like glue, and we have a safety car. What is going on?
I don't know, but I can give you now, finally, as the safety car comes out, I can give you an update on the XGT class. Eric Joyner doing a really good job ahead of Mark Montour, the Canadian, in the Aston Martin, the former Darren Turner car, in 13th position. But that's the XGT, the brand new class of racers, and Ken Thwaites in the Audi is just behind. Leading the SGT class is Tim Kesman, then Lee Saunders, and Mark Bowden. We're expecting that battle to be the case.
It looks like we have car number 30 turn. It looks like in turn 10 it spun.
Richard
Grant will
Grant.
continue, but now we've got the entire field bunched up behind the safety car, and that's not necessarily what Ernie Francis Jr. wanted to have happen, but that's the reality. Right now he's got Adam Andretti, Dyson, who went from the back now all the way staring down his rear bumper. We're about to see a green flag drop in a race like never before.
We got a lot of graphics this year. I would love to have a heartbeat rate on Chris Dyson, because he's probably just saying that was probably the fastest 5-10 laps he's ever done, because that was superb racing against the odds. He was down and out yesterday. In fact, he took a nasty hit yesterday. He hit the wall very, very hard backwards. The whole back end of the car was ripped off, and yeah, he probably didn't have a good night's sleep last night, but no. And he said his crew were up all night. But it is the Chevrolet Corvette of Richard Grant from Germantown, Tennessee, who's the man that's caused the stoppage and brought out the safety car at the moment. So we slow it down, Joe. Catch your breath. We wanted an exciting start to the season. We got it.
Yeah, absolutely right. And now, I mean, I think right now, if I'm Amy Ruman, I've moved back a little bit, which is, of course, not what you want. However, if she hasn't been pushing as hard as these guys, this is really going to fall to her strategy. If she can keep that tire underneath her, if she's got a little bit more brakes, she can then put the heat towards Dreesy, she can put the heat towards Dyson, and move her way back to the front. That's right. And so this year in Trans Am, we have a new rule, which is the lucky dog rule, but we have the lucky dog kennel rule. If you go a lap down and we see full course caution and the safety car leaves pit lane, you will then enter pit lane. When you go by, allow the field to pass and gain that lap back. Now, usually in other forms of racing, whether it be NASCAR or wherever, it's just one car per safety flag or double yellow. In Trans Am's case, with the sprint racing format, anyone who is a lap down gets to enter pit lane, allow the pack to pass, and then re-enter, essentially gaining that lap back, which puts them back in the fight. Now we're looking down the back straight right now. The lights on the safety car are currently still on. I don't suspect that they'll be on there for very long, because I don't think there's much wall repair or anything that needs to happen. I do believe that car, the number 10 car, was able to continue, as I understand it. So double yellow for right now, but hopefully not for much longer, because honestly, I mean, being a race car driver and a team owner and so on and so forth, laps under caution are actually really difficult on these cars.
Yeah.
They need that fresh air across the grill. They need to keep the brakes cool. This is a lot of heat soak, not just for the equipment, but also for the drivers. So this isn't exactly what they want to see. I'm sure Ernie is probably a little worried because he's got a whole pack of hungry drivers behind him right now.
You make a really good point, Joe, because I was talking to a few drivers about, how isn't it great when you have a little period like this where you can calm down, you can slow down, you can have a bit of thinking, maybe talk to your engineer, and they said, no, not at all. The physicality of warming those tires, as Amy's doing right now, is harder than driving at speed because the car's heavier. It's not designed to go slow.
No, it's not. And as the tire cools, it's picking up all the clag, it's picking up all the dirt and the sand, and it's sticking to the tire. And so we're going to go green. If the tire's not at its optimum and you're going to late break into 1, 2, maybe 3 wide, it can be a really tricky situation. So certainly under caution, it can be a little tough. And especially think about this, the cool shirt box, everything is just sitting in there. If we go the whole length of the race in terms of timeage, all that cool shirt, all that ice that's in that box turns to warm water. Your drink bottle is now warm water, and you're not getting any of the fresh air that circulates through the car. It can be really tough on drivers.
Just to remind you, in XGT, our brand new category, it is Eric Joyner of Torrance, California, and the number 10 Porsche leading the way on that, and a slight gap, but we just saw a glimpse of him a moment ago, but doing a really good job. And we've got a good battle in XGT because we've got a couple of different marks with Porsche and with Aston Martin going to battle. Here they are. There's Eric just there, and there's the Aston Martin just behind him with the lights blazing.
Marc Montour. Yeah, Marc Montour is going to campaign for the full year this year, and his son, Luis Philippe Montour, running a TA2 car. Really the crew on that car is unmatched. Wheeling guys are incredible. It qualified 4th yesterday, a strong pace, but it wasn't quite what he wanted. He had more in the tank, and that's what is really going to get that race pace that he needs. Marc Montour's son, Luis Philippe Montour, is definitely going to be pushing for a win in the TA2 race later
LP
today.
Montour, they call him. We just saw a glimpse there of the SGT class, and Tim Kesman doing a really good job in that one. He's on a real fight, though, too. But at the front, Ernie Francis Jr., after 6 laps, 1.8 seconds ahead. But, of course, that's all gone to naught now for the restart, and so it'll be all bets off. Dreesy's right up there. Dyson's up there. He must feel as though he's got to get a podium out of this. Here comes Joyner. Leading that Aston Martin. There's Thwaites in the Audi, and then comes Kesman and the 4-line boys just right behind. And this is a really, really interesting group of different cars.
Beautiful cars all around. You've got all different makes. You've got completely different, approaches to setup, approaches to racing, and really how they try to push. It's a great mix. It's really close racing, and it's unmatched.
Just to quickly explain the XGT, I know Ben was talking about it earlier, but if you've just joined us, we've got a new category, XGT, this year. And the bottom line is, it kind of fits in between their cars that don't have a professional place to run. Right. They're all cars that basically go back to 2016 and before. Still competitive,
absolutely.
But we found a category for them, and there's we think there's probably over 100 cars eligible to race in this.
Absolutely, and it's a sprint race, so it's we have a lights off the safety car, and we are about to go green as we see a little piece of debris blow across the track. Adam Andretti is stuck to the back of Ernie Francis Jr. You could not fit a piece of paper between these guys. We're going to see the green flag drop as they come around turn 17 underneath the bridge.
52 minutes to go in our first Trans Am race, TA.
Here we go, green flag.
And away they go. Adam Andretti's got a good start, but here comes Dyson on the outside.
3 wide into 1. This is going to be a really tight exit.
Oh, he's so close, but somehow
Dyson falling out. He's going wide.
He's gone too wide, yeah. Oh, no,
he's over under.
Nicely done. He went high and wide, and now he's firing at turn 2. Almost does it. Andretti's coming up. Very good racing by Chris Dyson, and now he's over Andretti, and he almost bumped into the back of the Russell Brown
almost
there.
had some contact. Ernie Francis Jr. is able to stay in front, push that pedal down, and now we've got a battle between third again. Dyson and Dreesy are door-to-door coming into 7.
Yeah, and they're side by side. We saw it on the drone there, but Andretti, they're sorting themselves out, but it's still a battle for third.
Dreesy made the move, and it's stuck. Oh, we've got damage to the front of the Chris Dyson's number 20
He did hit him, didn't he?
Right front corner damage, and that might have been to Adam Andretti.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that he bumped. We went to the drone shot. We just saw him bump into the back before they went under the bridge. Now we're at the back of the circuit, had the Fangio turn, and into the back of the tracks. Here's the SGT cast. There's Tim Kesman. And through they go.
Aaron Pierce in the 26 Chevrolet Corvette. the LSI Performance team, is ready to win here. He said he's going to give it 100% for 100 miles, and it looks like the Dreesy machine is in one piece. I don't see any damage, nor do I see anything hanging off of Adam Andretti's car, but certainly damage to Dyson's front end.
Yeah, you mentioned Aaron Pierce. He had a little issue in testing, which put him back for the first day of testing, but they righted it. And I think Pierce is doing 2 classes this weekend, so busy team, that one.
Yep, he's another driver that does both the TA1 race and the TA2 race with his car, and he's going to have a long day today with over 200 miles. This is insane. We're coming into turn 17. Ernie Francis Jr. is still in front. Adam Andretti is in the sights there. Let's see the damage on Dyson. Yep, I don't think that's going to affect the cooling of the car, the brake cooling, the engine cooling. Certainly going to have a bit more drag. The top speed's going to suffer because of that, but he's still in this fight.
Cool, calm, and collected. Normal service for Junior. Here comes Joyner into 17. The Aston Martin about 3 car lengths. Then Thwaites in the Audi just behind him. Good battle for XGT.
Beautiful bunch of cars here coming into 17. This new class is just incredible. Look at these cars bringing all the way to the wall on driver's left, coming out of the 17 underneath the bridge, and then going underneath the Chevrolet bridge for turn 1. And this is one of the fastest turns here, and it is a bumpy ride, and it is tough to keep that car to the inside, hit that cone on the fence for that apex, and then bring it all the way back out again.
Great restart from Ernie Francis Jr. Just did his fastest lap at 2:01.5, and that's why he's pulled away, gapped away from Adam Andretti, who did a 2:02 last time out. So Andretti will need to bounce back unless he's going to lose Ernie. Tommy Dreesy, on the other hand, did his fastest lap at 2:03.4, but he's still some distance behind, as we can see it from above here. There comes Francis. Right underneath you is Adam Andretti as they dive into the right-hander. Fantastic shots here from above to see the gaps. It's so cool to be able to actually see just how far Ernie's managed to eke out in just a small space of time.
Yeah, that drone is capturing such awesome images. Great clarity. It's an amazing day. Very little wind. The flags are barely moving out there. It's great for racing.
Amy Ruman still in 5th place at the moment. Dyson dropped back to 4th after that hit. And just behind him is Daniel LaRucia Jr. And then Simon Gregg in 7th, John Bokum in 8th, Kerry Hitt is 9th, and then the round out, the top 10 is Masood. And you can see it for yourself a little further down, that battle for SGT. Saunders, Bowden, and Olotowski. And Aaron Pierce is 19th. Tom Herb down further than we would expect. It was Richard Grant that was the man with the problem earlier that brought out the safety car. As, again, Ernie Francis comes into 17. Here's Adam Andretti.
Yep, Weaver Racing Concepts chassis for that car, and it's an extremely strong motor as well. Dreesy is just behind Adam Andretti. He's not letting him check out. We are in the core of this race. This is when it comes down to really trying to manage your equipment, manage that tire, stay on top of tire degradation so that you can push for the last few laps.
Yeah, there's no question. Having the Weaver car, Boris said, of course, did great things with Weaver last year, and Adam Andretti's planning to do the same thing. We're expecting Boris to make an appearance, curly hair and all, at some point, as he usually does. He'll swan in when he's ready.
That's right. That's right. We have so much talent in TA. It's incredible. We have people doing the full season. We have people doing North Cup or Southern Cup. There's like several championships within the national circuit that these guys show up to, and it makes for great racing.
Yeah, and Amy Ruman's losing time now, 8.7 seconds behind at the moment, as we look at Adam Andretti just gliding his way in that 43. And he so wants a podium out of this weekend. It's a really important personal weekend for him.
Yep, that's right. Those guys are running a limited year this year. They're probably going to do the Southern Cup, which is why they're here. They're going to be at Atlanta, and they really want to try to make the best jump that they can. Ernie's tough to catch. Let's face it, the kid's fast. He's really consistent. The Breathless Racing team puts together one heck of a car, and he's tough to beat.
It's going to be interesting. If we get another safety car, this might just glue together as we look at Ken Thwaites. He's running 3rd at the moment in XGT. We just saw the Aston Martin through. There's about 5 car lengths between the 3 of them at the moment. We just need one more safety car. There's the airport to the left-hand side as we look above into the 2 very quick left-handers where you just touch the apex, then into this little tiny complex to the right. It zooms through, then to Le Mans, and then to the back straight.
Yeah, Bishop's Bend is a really, really tough place. Oh, and problems for Aaron Pierce in that number 26 Chevrolet Corvette. Not quite sure what's going on here. We have one of the mechanics, 2 of the mechanics here popping the hood. Not sure what's going on there. They did have some mechanical issues in testing.
Yeah, there was a shifter problem, I think it was, in testing, but I'm not sure what it is now. But either way, he's not where he needs to be.
Yep.
Adam Andretti getting very wide at the exit of Sunset and onto the main straight. Here they come into turn one again. But we're watching this man, the Lucas Slick Mist. I love it. And he is slick mist, isn't he, Tommy Dreesy?
Right. Tommy Dreesy, he's such a nice guy. He slides that helmet on, and he is ready to go. I know he's giving it everything that he has. I know that that's what kind of driver Tommy is. If the car will do it, he's going to make sure it does, and he's doing everything he can to try to, catch Adam Andretti in that 43.
Yeah, and Tommy's got a busy day because he owns one of the HTA cars, one of the historic Trans Am cars that'll be running later. So we're looking forward to seeing that in action, and I'm sure Tommy will be there. Talking of XGT, here is Joyner, just gone through. Mark Montoya in your picture right now. Montoya goes through in second place. Here's Ken Thwaites, the third place man. So like I said, it's about 5 car lengths between them. Now we go back to SGT, and the battle lines are drawn. And by the way, if you look at the top left, there you see it. That's where you can also get the delineation of what group they're in, SGT versus XGT and GT.
Yep, on the windshield banner, you'll be able to see what class the car's in. So you'll see the Trans Am logo in the center, Pirelli above the driver's head, and then the class, driver's right. So it makes it a little bit easier to understand who we're seeing at a distance, what class they're in, and then you can better understand what position they are on track.
45 minutes left in this first race of... Oh, they're looking at this car. It's Aaron Pierce we're down with.
Possible plug. Well, it looks like they're looking at the left front suspension or brakes. Or plug wires. They're looking in that corner. Whatever it is, the engine is off. It does not look good.
Yeah, they'll want to get him back out there just for the sake of getting ready for the next round, I suppose, and making sure that they can sort of dust off whatever problems there is. But right now, his day is pretty much over.
Yeah, look
now,
at
the question is,
fly.
Can Dreesy catch up with Adam Andretti? That's the real next battle. And, of course, can this man, Chris Dyson, who's done a sterling job, and he's left Amy Ruman at the moment, and she's some distance behind, but that's the top 4 in TA.
The pack spreads out just a little bit past that. These cars are still going really fast. Look at Simon Gregg. He is door-to-door with that driver. Oh, we have a potential move. Nope. Going to pop back in and then roll through 17, trying to make a run back into 1.
So we just catch our breath for a second. Less than 45 minutes in this first race of 2020.
Yep, and Dreesy just ran his fastest lap, the 11th lap of the race.
Larry Bailey,
2:01.515. So he is actually going just as fast as Ernie Francis Jr. right now. There is a chance that he's now turning on the switch. He's going to try to chase down Mr. Andretti and hopefully get around him with enough tire and enough car to go after Ernie Francis Jr. We just see Amy Ruman coming into turn 7, and then we got Daniel Jr. actually coming into turn 7 as well, and Simon Gregg there.
There's a lot left in this race, and Joe, I've got, so you go, if you're wondering who, I've got Joe Stevens alongside me, team owner out in the TA2 race, his man doing a really good job putting it on pole, Mike Skeen. But when you have gaps like this, do you start kind of try to think ahead of a safety car, or do you try to put that out of your head? Because, like I said, we've got Ernie's got 2.8 seconds, but he's not safe by any means, is he?
No, there's no real chance to take a breath here. And it doesn't really matter if you're Ernie or if you're Amy or whomever. Right now, you've got your own strategy, and you're really driving the car based on how it performs. So if the car is free, the car is good, the car seems to be working quite well, you can keep on pushing. But, across the board, if you have an issue, you're in pit lane, there's really not much you can do until you can sort out the mechanical fault. It looks like they have an air line somewhere over to that left front corner.
Either way, that Corvette's going nowhere. As we take a look at now, Chris Dyson coming through some lap traffic. There's the gap between himself and Amy Ruman.
Okay, and Dyson, that is Tommy Dreesy. He is only a car length behind Adam Andretti, and he is still running fast laps. Last lap was a 2:02.025. So
yeah, that's interesting because Andretti did a 2:02.9, so he has caught almost a second up on that last lap. As we see from above, and you really see it graphically now as they go through the S's now. There's Adam Andretti in the middle of your shot now, and look how quickly Dreesy's catching him. As they come under the bridge, will he have caught some more? The next overtaking position is down by the hotel at 5.
Exactly right. And so where is Dreesy's car faster? Is it better under the brakes? Is he got a stronger motor at this point? It looks like, to me, he is reeling him in under the brakes. It's possible he's got a better balance in the slower areas, and he's really just, if he can put that power down and have that forward drive, he will have what it takes to catch Adam. And judging by the lap times, his pace is improving.
So fantastic shots here as we take a look at the leader, and out on his own. It's a lonely job when you're leading the way, but this youngster has been an absolute miracle story. We were talking about the youngsters, including Jet Nolan, who's just 15 this weekend, and of course 18-year-old JP Southern. You'll see him in action. But you've got to look at the youngsters and say that Ernie Francis Jr. started winning in Trans Am when he was 15, and he hasn't stopped. He's gone through all the classes, and now a 6-time winner, looking for 7th heaven this season. And he may still be a nipper, but he's one of the most experienced drivers we've got now. Yeah,
that's absolutely right. You look at his racing pedigree, and in Trans Am, it's quite unmatched. He's won a lot. He's also done some TA2 races where he won a Northern Cup race at Detroit a couple years ago. So Ernie Francis Jr., it's just an incredible story that he brings. And you speak to Jet Nolan, you speak to JP Southern. These kids, they bring so much talent. I've had the opportunity to work with JP. He's driving a Stevens Miller racing car. And I've actually had the opportunity to test with Jet Nolan here at Sebring only several weeks ago. Unfortunately, we didn't have a car for Jet, so he was able to run with Mike Cope. Mike Cope Racing is one of the top-tier TA2 Arrive and Drive teams here. They bring phenomenal cars. They actually make their own chassis, and they're tough to beat.
You know, you make a really interesting point. We talk about the history, we talk about the 54-year history of Trans Am, but it is people like Ernie Francis Jr. that become poster boys for these youngsters you just mentioned, because they see an opportunity here. He's been here for a few years now, loves it so much, he doesn't want to go to NASCAR, doesn't want to go necessarily up the ranks. He likes racing here, and he loves racing these cars. Yep. He's had opportunities, and he still does some K&N racing now and again. Certainly last year he did. I remember one time in Indianapolis, he did one race Saturday night and then raced on Sunday here without qualifying, still won.
That's exactly right. I mean, you look at the new face of Trans Am. We have an Austin Martin World Endurance Challenge car in the new class, XGT, being followed by a beautiful Audi R8. This is the new face of Trans Am. This is the new face of SVRA. We have a great new mobile app. You all need to install it on your phones, and you can check out live streaming all around the world. That's why Ernie Francis Jr. wants to stay with Trans Am, because it's not like he's doing the same thing every year. He's trying different classes, he's trying different platforms, and the technology and the infrastructure of this racing series continues to grow with him.
Yeah, no question about it. And John Bokum is a quick shot of him, the man from Charlotte, North Carolina, going through. This is the battle for 7th place.
Simon Gray closely behind, number 58, and he is pushing it forward here. Let's see what happens. Another great shot from the drone right through Bishop's Bend, heading into turn 14.
This is Bishop's Bend, this left-hander, right?
Yes, and it is flat in a Trans Am TA2 car. I don't know if it's flat in any of the other makes, but our driver Mike Skeen in the number 77 Liqui Moly turn 14 distribution car was flat through Bishop's Bend, and it is extremely fast.
So we go back to John Bokum and Gray's battle here in TA for 7th place, and it's a good one too with 38 minutes to go. Just one safety car so far. Nothing happening in the pits, which is always good news for the teams anyway. Through a flash of Chris Dyson, and there's the gap he's built up now over Amy Ruman. Here she comes down towards Sunset Bend one more time in the McNichols 23.
Beautiful Corvette. Amy has kept that livery for years now, and I absolutely love it. And, you know, if I'm going to be honest, that is my favorite livery of any TA car. I love the red on black with those bright polished wheels. It just looks really, really nice. And we see Simon Gray coming through turn 17, number 59. That team, Durhog Motorsports, and TRB are actually out of Minnesota, and those guys have traveled a long way to get here, and Simon's got something to prove. He really wants to show well this year. He's obviously one of the more experienced drivers in Trans Am. He's had this for quite some time, and this is one of his favorite tracks.
Yeah, and the Gregg family, of course, we mentioned the history, of course, big part of it, and one of Peter Gregg's cars out later today in the HTA, the historic Trans Am.
Carry hit, pressure from behind from the 18 car through 1. It'll be interesting to see what happens as we go into 3.
Hit currently running in 10th place at the moment.
Bumper to bumper. And here we come into turn 7, I believe.
Daniel Laruti.
Again, you can see that TA decal on the top right of the windshield banner. Just to remind the audience what class we're looking at as we see these cars. They're all fast. They're all moving so quick. Take a quick glance at that windshield banner in the top right corner. Oh, no, and we have a problem with Chris Dyson.
Oh, no.
He has gone off. He's slowed up after the contact with Adam Andretti. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Obviously, this could very well cause a full course caution.
It will, and Dyson, more importantly, will be bitterly disappointed. The team have been up all night. They fixed this car from scratch. The back end of it was not recognizable right now, and sadly, it's going nowhere, nor is Chris. He's going to get out of the car And if I know Chris, he's going to be spitting, absolutely spitting, because it was all going swimmingly. The first few laps, he went from last basically to 4th place. Well, actually, I got up to 3rd at one point, dropped down to 4th at the restart, but it's game over, sadly, for Chris Dyson.
It was a big challenge to be really confident for Chris Dyson's race here because of the amount of damage that he suffered in qualifying. Something in the rear of that car failed coming into the turn that we're looking at now, 17, and it actually went around it spun around the wrong way and it contacted a tire wall and really demolished the rear of the car. I talked to the team before the race. There was only one exterior panel on that car that was still in good shape. They had to completely rebuild the rear suspension, the rear drivetrain, and all of that bodywork. Such a shame for the effort of that team. Such a shame for Chris Dyson, as he really wants to win this championship.
Yeah, no question about it. Back to Joyner leading the XGT championship, but there's an irony to this, because this time last year, Chris Dyson picking up 2nd place and getting off to a great start to his championship. Ernie Francis Jr., ironically, having a bad day at Sebring this time last year and had to fight his way through for the rest of the year, and then still made it through to win the championship. 12th overall, leading XGT. It's Joyner doing a really good job, but coming up on some traffic now.
Yep, got about 12 laps to go, or 35 minutes, whatever comes first. So I'm not quite sure where exactly Dyson had his car and if it's going to bring out the full course caution. He may have got it to a safe escape area. Sebring International Raceway has a lot of these where if you do have a mechanical and you can get around a barrier or you can get to one of these safe escape areas, you can then not cause the caution. So I'm sure if Chris was able to do so, that's what he did. We have some damage on the left front of the 18 car, and I see that he got around Kerry Hitt. I wonder if there was contact between those two cars.
Yeah, and I'm watching Joyner in the number 10 Porsche. He's got like a 15-second lead. He's got to be careful as he dices now with these slightly slower cars, because he doesn't want to get in trouble and find himself losing that gap, because he's built it up nicely. He's just got to be cautious now, but it's all very well. If you're in the seat, you're hot, you're going fast, you're in the zone, you want to get past people.
That's right. Yeah, you could see significant damage to the bodywork on the left
definitely.
front corner of the 18. And I suspect that was during the pass attempt of Kerry Hitt. I haven't seen an image of his car. I hope that Kerry's doing okay, because he's fallen back quite a bit.
Yes, he has. And so Kerry Hitt's disappeared, and was there a contact between them?
You know, it's tough to say. We can't see everything from the new SVRA app, but what we don't see, the stewards will certainly review with the in-car camera video, and there's possibly, you know, going to be a decision, a penalty. All those things are also likely. It's possible.
Well, back into shot comes John Bokum.
We've got a pass, it looks like, on the outside. 86 car is coming in now. It looks like that car...
I think Bokum might be coming in, because he doesn't
might be
around,
coming in. Yep, he has entered pit lane. Possible mechanical issue or penalty going on there. It's difficult to know exactly what's happening. And another beautiful Ford Mustang TA car, number 21.
Yeah, Hamid Al Masood from Abu Dhabi in that Ford Mustang, part of the played team, if you like, Chris Dyson's teammate. And that was one of the other bright spots for Chris Dyson, was that he'd have a teammate, because he was on his own last year. Masood coming in, they're good friends. He's got a lot of experience, but sadly, Chris not out there to help him. And I think, is that Chris's car?
That is his car there. So he is in the escape road at the end of turn 7, right by the hotel. And clearly, he's far enough away from the racing on track. He has exited the car. They're going to keep a green flag down, and I'm sure Ernie Francis Jr. is happy about that.
Good work by Moose and Maverick up in the a drone there to let us know exactly where he was on track. And yeah, so that's the good news, is that Dyson is not going to slow down proceedings here at Sebring. If you've just tuned in, welcome. It's Trans Am 2020, a whole new decade and a whole new era. It's the Roaring 20s, and we've got muscle cars coming your way, at least for the next 10 to 20 years. And we're really enjoying bringing it you live here as we take a look at the 21 of Hamid Masood of Abu Dhabi in that Ford Mustang. And he's got his own battle on at the moment.
That's right, Sebring International Raceway. We're with SVRA in the Speed Tour, starting off the 2020 championship, and it's been one heck of a race so far. The running order is Ernie Francis Jr., and then we have our good friend in the 43 ECC machine, Adam Andretti, being followed by Mr. Dreesy. So it's a really anyone's race at this point in time, because anything can happen. We could have a caution come out. There's still plenty of time, as you can see in the top of the screen. If we do go to a timed race, we have just over 31 minutes remaining. We have about 10 laps to go.
Back at the front, here's the gap between Andretti in second place and the breathless number 98 of Ernie Francis Jr. Now, so far, Francis Jr., we've hardly really seen him because we didn't need to. He's got a good, comfortable lead. He had a little bit of a scary moment, if you will, because obviously the safety car pulled them all together again. But Ernie got away well, and as soon as he got away, he was off and running and has built on that lead since out of Andretti. But now you see, this is where it gets a little bit dangerous. What do you tell your driver when he starts to go through traffic and he's got a lead like this?
Well, you got to be careful, because if you get too greedy with your passes on lap traffic and you're leading the race or wherever you are, you risk everything. So, and we have another car off, the number 45 Breathless Racing car is fielded by Breathless Racing.
That's Tim Horrell, yeah.
Looks like there might be some damage to the left front, and it doesn't really want to roll as he gets it started, and he is back rolling. I think that is turn 1. He may have had a spin. It doesn't look like there's any wall damage that I saw.
Well, that's effectively Ernie Francis Jr., who's coming up on some big traffic at the moment.
Big traffic.
But that's actually his teammate. So Francis now 2.5 seconds ahead of Andretti. Dreesy still third. A little further down, Daniel Arrucia Jr. Massoud's up to 6, Simon Gregg. And as you can see, the 86 of John Bokum in the pits at the moment. And they're just having a look inside by the looks of things. But Andretti, if anything, is using this time and using this traffic to keep Francis Jr. honest and to keep him in his sights.
That's right. Keep the pressure on him and try to use the traffic to your advantage. You're really hoping, as you look at Ernie Francis Jr. in front of you, he gets into a pack of traffic where it's not easy to navigate. He might make a mistake. At a minimum, he's going to get held up. You got to use it to your advantage. You got to also control the gap to the car in front. If you can hold off for just a little bit, not chase a car down into a braking zone, maybe just hit your marker a little bit early and then try to over, under, or leave that stop faster, you might be able to navigate the traffic a little bit faster. But
this
again,
is what he's doing.
That's exactly right. He's picking his marks, and that's what makes him such a great driver. Is there's a whole lot of dynamic challenges that you get. Okay, so they are in the same position. The 45 car, Ernie Francis Jr.'s teammate in that Porsche is right next to Chris Dyson's car. Looks like they have run into issues in the same spot, and it shouldn't cause a caution.
It sounds like people were listening in the driver's briefing this morning, which is very rare amongst you racing drivers.
We are a new racing group here for 2020 in Trans Am. It's exciting.
They have parked the cars in places where we can continue to race, because that's always a difficulty. Once your car's got problems, to try to find a safe and easy place to park it, never easy.
No, it's not. I mean, there's a lot of challenges. Ernie Francis Jr. making it look easy, but I tell you what, it's a very dynamic thing out there to try to hang on to a car that weighs 2,500 pounds and makes 800 horsepower. So no driver aids, no traction control, no ABS, none of that stuff. It's just you, the pedals, and the wheel, and it's all on your shoulders.
That, I think, is what, when I was talking to Boris, said about why he loved Trans Am. He said he's raced so many different types of car, but he loves Trans Am for that one reason, that it's him against the machine and the machine and him against the rest of the world. And I love that idea. It really is pure racing at its finest.
Yep, absolutely. And the other classes, the XGT, which we're looking at right now, they have everything. ABS from Bosch, traction control from a manufacturer, factory-built race cars that are truly pieces of art. It doesn't matter really what condition that they're in. Those cars are tough to beat.
Yeah, in fact, that Aston Martin I saw run in the World Endurance Championship.
Oh, we have, let's see, I think that's James in the PF Racing.
Yeah, that's James
number
Pesek.
41. Oh, we got Simon Gregg off again. They might have a surface condition. I'm not quite sure what's exactly going on here, but...
well, it's the same place, because Pesek has gone off the number 41, and is that, like you say, that's usually when two cars do that, there's something on track, maybe something's been thrown down by one of the other cars.
Yep.
We'll watch out for that, and now Ernie's got to watch out. They'll be on his radio telling him there's something up.
Double yellow. We are double yellow. That
27
is not
minutes
what
to go.
Ernie Francis Jr. wanted to see. Safety car lights up as it leaves pit lane to collect the leader. We have 8 laps to go, or as you see at the top of your screen, 27 minutes.
Yeah, really interesting now, because everything slows down and all the good work. 3.5 seconds, almost 4. Ernie built up. Tommy Dreesy now moves up to second place, but yeah, this is not over. And Dreesy will smell blood now for sure.
Yep, absolutely. And if you're Amy Ruhlman, if you've been able to save your equipment, now's the chance, give it 100% in. Looks like Adam Andretti
that's why he dropped out.
He has smoke.
He did a little pit stop there, and Dreesy got up to second place. That's why we saw that graphic telling us that Dreesy was now in second, but 18 seconds behind. That will now come to naught as well. But Andretti's got in and out. But how quickly, I wonder?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on there and the extent of the issue, but we are under a full course yellow condition right now, and hopefully they can get the mess cleaned up quickly so we can go back racing. And it looks like it's Dreesy's turn to take the heat towards Ernie Francis Jr. It'll be a very interesting restart, and yes, more smoke coming from the machine, the ECC machine number 43 of Adam Andretti. Yeah, something's going on there.
Yeah. Bring it in, Adam.
Engine issue, it would seem, or drivetrain issue.
Well, do you wonder whether he is the one that put that slick stuff down in the first place, came in to check it, and then went back out again, and it's still not righted itself?
Sadly, that might be the issue, and we saw a car go off. We saw Simon Gregg go off in the TA machine. That could very well be what caused the domino effect. So we're going to get everybody back together here. The safety car is going to collect Ernie Francis Jr., and we're going to get everybody bunched back up. It looks like we have about 7 laps to go at this point, so definitely enough time to really have a great race. But the problem that Dreesy's going to have right now in catching Ernie Francis Jr. is he's got several cars in front of him, not in the same class, a little bit slower paced, and he's going to have to get around in order to be door-to-door with the man he wants to.
And the PF Racing car is the one of James Pesic is the one they're trying to get out of the way, because that is in a precarious position, and that's why they've got a tow truck there.
Yep,
he's out of the car, but
he does not have a whole lot of experience with the Pirelli tire, and one of his challenges.
Right next to each other. Look.
Yeah, exactly right.
Same place.
So they're going to just pick them up one by one here, get this all cleaned up, and luckily it doesn't look like there's much damage to that car. All we can really see is the front end of it, of course. James is okay. Number 41, he's having a great weekend so far. Unfortunately, he ran into an issue, possible surface condition, had a spin, was unable to get the car restarted. It's been a learning curve for him to get used to the Pirelli tire. He's not used to racing on that tire. He did show up today to race for the win, and really his approach was just to be consistent, but unfortunately one of those variables happens that you can't control, and wound it up spinning.
Well, the Sebring marshals and officials doing a really good job. Of course, the 12 hours of Sebring coming up very soon. These marshals, some of the most experienced in the world, and they'll be in action, of course, in a few weeks' time. But this kicks off the season, really, this vintage classic, and with Trans Am as well. It's a great way to start. The sun is shining here in Florida. I saw about 1 million oranges on the way in. So now I know where they all come from and where I get my morning orange juice from.
That's right. It's an amazing day here today. Great racing we've seen so far. If we do get an opportunity to go back green, this is going to be an intense race.
It's going to be a sprint race.
And look at Amy Ruman now. She's third, and so she's going to be staring down Dreesy. These two have a bit of a past, but as of lately, they've been racing really clean. They've been racing really well. It'll be interesting to see how much pace she'll have in trying to chase him down.
Now, Trans Am followers will be looking at Ernie Francis Jr. and going, isn't that Ernie Francis Jr.? Because that's what his car kind of looked like last year. But it isn't, because now One South Florida Wealth Advisors has given him this new orange and gray. And I was talking to him about the new sponsor, and he said, well, it's not really a new sponsor. They're here today. They're enjoying the festivities and excited to see Ernie out there. But, yeah, they've been with him for a few years now, but have decided to take on the full coverage of the car. That's why the number 98 is in that all orange and grey. Very distinctive too, so yes. Keep an eye out for that. But it's still breathless racing, and it's still normal service resumed with Ernie Francis Jr. out front.
Yep, Ernie Francis Jr., he's from South Florida. This is what he considers to be his home track and his favorite track. So it's good to see a One South Florida Sports and Entertainment step up for a primary sponsor on that car. And it's also good to see that in the offseason, those guys keep on doing what they do. They put together such a solid race car. It's consistent. Of course, in racing, any form of racing, anything can happen. But those guys really know the checks and balances as they rest behind the safety car, a beautiful white Dodge Challenger. The lights are still on, so we will not be going green this time by. It looks like one more time round, at least, behind the safety car.
Yeah, I can confirm that it was Andretti that was dropping the oil. No question about that. We saw it for ourselves, so yeah. Confirmation there. And James Pesic going off, but as you saw. And it was a clutch issue for car number 3, Daniel Arusha Jr. That was the problem for him. So we're up to date now as several cars coming in.
Okay, so the cars are decking into pit lane again. You can get the Lucky Dog with Trans Am.
Just explain that again, because I think that's interesting.
Certainly. So if you go a lap down while under racing conditions and we see a double yellow where the safety car is deployed, as you come around the track and enter the spot where you would enter into pit lane, you enter pit lane and allow yourself to exit the pack, allow the pack to continue down the racetrack, and then you get to enter back on. Now, it looks like they're serving a penalty. I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on there, but they do have to wait for the entire field to get around them before they enter onto track. So they might just be being held by a steward there to allow the pack to get by. And then once that pack goes past them on pit lane, they rejoin the racing surface, and they basically gain that lap back. So timing and scoring is in the picture here. The stewards and pit lane are in the picture. It's a dynamic thing, but it works really well. They want people within the sprint racing category of Trans Am to stay in the fight, regardless if they go a lap down.
That's a really good idea, and it's a really good thing, because so often you get confused watching a race when cars are a lap down and you see a fight, or you think you see a fight, and it's not actually the case. Yep. So yeah, I like that idea.
Yep, and you see Mark Montour putting a little bit of pressure while under caution from the car in front. You have to catch the pack.
Yeah,
that's really got to be your goal. Catch the pack and allow people to tight racing. Now you can see the safety car is going very slow, because the safety car, in speaking with the Trans Am stewards and officials and the corner workers here at Sebring International Raceway, they're going to try to slow everybody down. So you get these cars that don't quite go as fast as the TA1 cars that might break up the pack a little bit. It gives them an opportunity to catch the group, to get behind the safety car, so that when we go back green, we have everybody single file racing as soon as the green flag drops.
Now, if you're tuning in on the app for the first time, we welcome our viewers around the world to Trans Am. We'll be covering the full season of Trans Am. I know there's a lot of folks in Australia and New Zealand. I was just down there myself, and the big following for Trans Am down there. They've got their own TA2 developing there too. There's also very big interest in Asia, so we welcome our fans of muscle cars around the world. And just to let you know, the next round will be March 28th, 29th at Road Atlanta, another classic circuit. And talking of classics, how about Laguna Seca to throw into that? May 1st to 3rd, a little bit of Lime Rock, Indianapolis, Mid-Ohio, Brainerd, Road America, Watkins Glen, Virginia, and Circuit of the Americas. Then that is my kind of year.
That's a calendar right there, and I'm glad to see that Brainerd International Raceway, my home track, is back on the calendar this year. I hope it stays. I love that track. Of course, I've gone there many times racing my personal street cars and track days, etc. Hi to everybody. Joe Stevens in the booth, and could not be more excited to be here. Let's go 2020.
Yeah, I love it. What kind of racing can we expect from Brainerd?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I think Brainerd is one of those tracks where if you don't hang it out, if you are not there giving it 10/10, someone's going to have an opportunity to get around you. There are so many places on that circuit where you can put your nose and take away that apex from somebody. You're going to get by them. You're going to be able to get by them. So if you really know that place well, you're going to find a way around somebody. So it's great racing. It's a fast racetrack. It's got a great history. The owner of that track and my friend Jed, unfortunately, he passed away. And we're having a celebration of his life for this event. We're having a celebration for the history of that track and the series. It's a really special thing to be a part of.
And listen, we want to hear from you, the fans. This is what we're doing it for. We want to hear on social media. Go on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. There's a lot of features, news, and so on. And give us some feedback. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know if you've got questions. We'll go down in the paddock and find out the answers to them. There's a few changes to the rules, but not much this year. But we want to involve you, the fans, in the world of Trans Am and SVRA throughout the season. And as you can see, we're going to be with you and close up and personal as we get back to the action.
That's right. So safety lights are still on that pace car as they go around once again. We see some of those.
Several cars all
parked there as the pack goes. It'll be interesting to see if they get released now to rejoin the pack. There is. It looks like they want to go, but there might be one at the front that's having a difficult time starting. I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on there. And we look at the guys at Levy Racing, number 18. And remember, fans, if you come to a Trans Am event, there we go. Now they're all being released. Okay, they had to switch the order around a little bit to make sure that the classes line up with each other as they leave pit lane. So remember, if you attend a Trans Am event or an SVRA event, it is an open paddock. And that is very unique if you consider IndyCar or IMSA, where they have a lot of areas in which you are unable to go. It is not like that at our events. Bring the family, bring the kids, get underneath the canopies, sit in the race cars, speak with Dorsey Schrader, our stewards, John Claggett, our presidents. You can really feel a part of the fabric of Trans Am when you come to these events, and that's what makes it so special.
And there's always the odd legend around. Brian Redman here this weekend as our Grand Marshal for SVRA. Saw him in the paddock earlier signing autographs and being part of the whole festivities. He made a speech last night to a crowd of some 350 folks, so big night.
Yep, so I'm not quite sure. Let me check my live timing and scoring here.
I think we're going to be going pretty soon. Light's still on the safety car, but I think it's going to be a matter of moments before we get going.
Yep, and we're going to have 5 laps at this point remaining, so plenty of time. And now the order has been all switched around, so Dreesy is right behind our race leader, Ernie Francis Jr., and if he's got anything left in that car, I know he's going to send it.
Tommy Dreesy from California always has an interesting color scheme to follow. He's a big part of Hollywood and gets quite a few sponsors from there. He's had a few film sponsorships on the car where he basically advertises the latest film coming up. But
that's right.
Always interesting.
Walking down the pit lane, you'll see a fan. Do you know where I can find the Godzilla car?
Yeah, exactly.
And that, of course, is Tommy Dreesy. A big part of Hollywood and big production movies, and he often wraps his car up in vinyl to show those races, or excuse me, those movies. And it looks like lights are off on that beautiful Dodge Challenger pace car, and we are going green this time by.
And this is going to be really interesting with what, just over 2 minutes per lap. We're going to have a 5-6 lap sprint here. The safety car pulls away. Ernie Francis Jr. now leads the pack down towards Sunset Bend. Dreesy will be looking to try to make a move into turn 1. Don't count out Amy Ruman either. She's in 3rd place and she's been waiting. She hasn't been in the thick of the action for all of this race, but she's in 3rd place now. We've had a few guys drop out, and now she's got a chance. So away goes Ernie Francis Jr. Up the front straight they come here at Sebring. Dreesy looks to the inside. Ruman goes to the outside. The breathless man, number 98, leads them through, though. Good battle here. Just behind is the 59. A great start. A restart by Simon Gregg.
Yeah, the hair on my arm is standing straight up. This is intense racing. It doesn't get any better than this as they come through the turn here. Ernie able to get a little bit of a gap on Dreesy, but this ain't over yet.
No, as they head through the left-hander and under the bridge, Dreesy about 2 car lengths down as they head down to the hotel here. If you don't know, there's a big 5-star hotel right down by turn 5, and that's where we're coming up to now. But it's Ernie Francis Jr., Tommy Dreesy, Amy Ruman, and Masood now up to 4th place ahead of Simon Gregg. John Levy in 6th place, Kerry Hitt, and then Richard Grant.
Amy might be making an over-under move right now on Dreesy, right on his bumper. For whatever reason, Tommy Dreesy was on the very inside of that turn. I'm not quite sure what the strategy was there, but Amy was able to leave that corner a lot stronger.
And now you can see they're all queuing up behind him. And now, though, 2 things going on for Ruman. She's got Masood behind her, trying to get past her, and she's trying to get past Dreesy. Meanwhile, as you can see, Ernie Francis Jr. making his way and back into some clean air for the moment. 13 minutes to go, but still some good racing to come from our first TA action. And here's Joyner, still leading the XGT class, a brand new class of action for cars before 2016 and before, effectively.
Right. Yep, exactly right. So these big high horsepower endurance cars have a new home of racing in Trans Am, the XGT class, and just some amazing makes, a lot of variety, a lot of great racing, and it looks like we may have a safety car out again. This is not the safety car, but a safety vehicle. I'm not quite sure. Double yellow.
Yeah, they have to put the double yellow out if there's a safety vehicle on track. I'm not sure what happened there because, well, we'll soon find out. And the safety car is straight out.
Now, Amy right now is probably thankful for this because she was in the thick of it, and she didn't quite have enough for Dreesy to make a move that time. But I'm not quite sure exactly what we have going on here and how long this will continue. We might be able to go back green here. I show 4 laps remaining in this race.
It looks as though there's a problem at turn 17. That's where we've got the full caution, and it could be Tim Kesman, car number 44. That's the news I'm getting from the pits. and 25 of the 27, and as we said, a 27-lap race, but if the clock ticks down under safety, that's when we will finish this race, and we could potentially, if it is truly in the wall, finish under safety here. But this race has had every kind of drama possible. It had drama right from testing. We had 2 cars have problems before testing even began. Then we had the big off from Dyson at 17 before qualifying, even in free practice. He went off. Then Ernie Francis Jr. took the pole and was kind of surprised to see his usual rivals not there. And then as we got into the racing, we've had several offs, including Chris Dyson, who'd scythed his way through the whole field, only to be thwarted halfway through the race. That caused a safety car, a couple of other cars going off, including Tim Horrell in the 45, and we now think that potentially Tim Kesman in SGT could be the cause of this current safety.
Yep, so we've now gone to a lapped race. We have 2 laps left following the pace car right now. And
there we go. Look.
Okay, there is the issue. That looks like the exit of turn 17 on the outside wall. Driver's okay out there.
He could have tapped the wall onto the front straight, quite literally.
It looks like there's another car. Yes, there is. There looks like there's a E92 M3 behind that GT3 car, and they're both in the outside wall of turn 17.
So I've got a feeling we're going to finish under safety at this rate, but it doesn't matter because it's been absolutely electric for a starter for 10. What a way to go! There goes one of the safety trucks off.
What an incredible race though we've had here at Sebring International, and a great start to the season. We got Amy Ruhlman on the podium, I believe so, yes, on the podium, and Dreesy right in front of her, and Ernie Francis Jr. up front, really unchallenged for a majority of the race. And Dreesy's got to be happy because he had to start quite a ways back. Yeah,
I wonder if Dreesy will change his mind and do the whole series. I know he likes to do either the Northern or the West Championship, but he might just stick around if he starts winning.
I tell you what, if you get those points, it's hard to say no and keep away from it. I know he loves driving that the Lucas Oil Machine, the Slick Mist car, and that's with Burton and the GoShare team. They do a phenomenal job prepping that car for him. It always shows up ready to race, ready to take that green flag, full throttle, and a great race. This is going to be an insane series this year. This class, TA, XGT, SGT, what a phenomenal way to start the year.
Yeah, no question about it. We just got a quick chance to see Tom Herb in action there in the SGT in the number 16 for Fall Line, one of the other big teams we've got here as we look down from Sunset Bend, and it's where all the action's been so far. The lights on the safety car still on, so we're still under safety. So they will continue to warm the tires, and this is critical. I would hate this as a driver. You're so close to the finish line, but you don't know right now whether we're going to go for a one-lap sprint or we're just going to finish under safety.
I know. It's one of those things. You're behind the wheel, and should I be scrubbing tires? It looks like there's several competitors that assume we will. So they're making sure that their tires are prepped, the pedals set, and that they're ready to go green flag racing for a one-and-done green flag drop. Now, I'm not quite sure if we'll get a chance to look at turn 17 to see the status of the repair, but luckily where that incident happened is right by pit in. So hopefully it's a quick cleanup and they can get those cars.
We're going to finish under safety.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure of it.
When you get your car picked up,
when the John Deere comes out, it's farming time.
That's not good. That's definitely not good. And there was another car behind there. I'm not quite sure exactly the status, but they got to get him away from that tire wall. And that's unfortunate. Significant damage to the left front of that car. It's certainly something that will be repaired, be back ready to go. But that looks like it'll be the end of the race here.
Yeah, I think it will finish under yellow, which I'm sure the breathless number 98 team will be delighted for. But it's a real shame to see cars, especially so beautiful, inexpensive cars like a Porsche, stuck in the wall. But that's racing, folks. And we'll have a slow end to this one, but I'll tell you what, everything else that's gone before has been top draw Trans Am for the new decade. Roaring into the new 20s has been the muscle car fest that is Trans Am TA, and really enjoying it. All 4 classes, GT, SGT, and the new XGT. We've enjoyed it here. We've got more racing to come. Your man's on pole position. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have Mike skiing with SMR this year, and we're going to do the full year. And as a team owner, you're always nervous. It's difficult to be really overconfident. As we see there's so much that can happen during one of these races. But Mike actually has considerable pace. During our qualifying lap, he was held up by lap traffic in turn 17. By doing some of the predictive timing that we have in the data systems in our cars, we actually were able to run a 206 flat, and which would then set the record even further. We actually broke a 3-year record with our lap, which is an incredible achievement. You know, we run liquid moly fluids in all of our cars. It's a great part of our reliability, a great piece of our performance. And to have a driver like Mike Skeen and the experience that he brings.
What is his background?
Well, he does a lot of, first of all, he goes quite a bit ways back. He was at one point in time in Grand Am running with factory teams in GM with Leighton Reese, who ran that GM team. And I actually had an opportunity to work for Leighton Reese at some time. So he's got a huge pedigree also in Porsches. He does a lot of test and tune and development for tires. He actually developed the Pirelli TA2 tire with our team. So not a lot of people know that the SMR company actually participated with the development in the tuning of the new Pirelli TA2 tire. And Mike Skeen was our development driver. One of the greatest things that we have up our sleeve for the TA2 championship is the fact that Mike Skeen hasn't really been behind the wheel of a TA2 car for 3 years.
That's what you said to me last night, yeah.
So, I mean, being that he has just kind of reopened the door to the TA2 stuff, not only is the development and the engineering doing really well on our team, but also Mike is getting better on our team. And I think that's probably the biggest card that we have up our sleeves for our race, is that this is going to be the first time he takes an actual green flag drop in some time. So it'll be a close race. We have a lot of competition behind us. Thomas Merrill and that number 99. Sure. Mike Cope does such a good job preparing a race car. Those guys are super quick. They were actually testing here weeks ago, multiple different times with multiple drivers. And those guys are always really tough to beat. And then you've got Cameron Lawrence, who actually is the 2-time champion and ran with Miller Racing, the team that I acquired to create Stevens Miller Racing.
He's been a champion in the past.
He has, yes. So he's extremely good, and I know that he had more pace in that car. We both run the Howe Racing Enterprises chassis, and that car also utilizing liquid moly fluids in it. And it's great. We also have a Saybelt on our cars this year. All of our drivers stay safe with Saybelt products such as seats and belts and suits. And Pro Systems taking care of our brakes and our Elcon brake system. So it's going to be an exciting race.
So we're going to have one more lap under safety, which will finish it all off. You can see the damage in the rear of your shot there, and that's why we're going at a slow pace behind the safety car. We've had 2 cars go into the wall at the start of turn 1, in fact, the exit of the last turn onto the main straight, and that has brought out the 3rd safety car of the day. They see it, it's the checkered flag actually that's out now, so that is the checkered flag. Sorry, I didn't see it there for a moment. Thank you, sir, at turn 1, and that gives us now a full report that says that Francis Jr. wins the first race here ahead of Tommy Dreese and Amy Ruman. That is your top 3. Joyner will win in XGT. There he is in 6th overall, and in 2nd place will be Montour in XGT, and in 3rd Ken Thwaites. And certainly an interesting race with lots and lots of different action and drama. Real sadness for Chris Dyson, but elation for the all-new look for Breathless Racing and number 98 Ernie Francis Jr. He had real disappointment this time last year, and he bounces back in style, just what he wanted. Tommy Dreese puts in a really, really sterling performance from the back, and Amy Ruman holds on to 3rd, having started 3rd. Good crowd here at Sebring, getting ready for more action from Trans Am. And Joe Stevens alongside me, Jonathan Green. I'm delighted to have had you alongside, because there was a lot going on in that one.
That's right, Jonathan. It was an intense race and a great way to start the year. Hats off to all the competitors, and a big thanks to all the corner workers here at Sebring International and the Trans Am staff that make this racing possible. I'm just blown away by our new live streaming, all the technology that goes into it. I'm very appreciative for everything that Tony Perella and John Claggett have been able to put together to keep Trans Am alive and revitalized. And we see that in the new shape and the new classes in this series. We see this with the new tech, and we see it in the racing.
And don't forget, for all your muscle card media, take the app on either Apple or Android and download that app, and it's free of charge, and you can keep up to date. We've got plenty of features on there, interviews, qualifying stuff, all the stats, plus of course the schedule, and live. You can tune in and watch live streaming of each and every race, and we're really looking forward to bringing all the action of 220 to you. So, as you can see, the safety car will bring them in and they'll file into the pit lane, and we'll get down to the podium situation fairly soon. But just to confirm, Ernie Francis Jr. in the breathless number 98 with his new sponsor takes the win here. And disappointment for his arch rival Chris Dyson, and elation also for Tommy Dreesy, the California man, getting a podium result here, having to make his way through the grid. And the first winner ever in XGT, Porsche doing the business, and well, it wasn't a really hard fight on track per se, but he had a couple of near moments because with the safety car out, there's no question that Joyner couldn't just relax by any means.
Yep, agreed. Really, you look at, there's a lot of great racing and a lot of great battles that happened out there. Ernie Francis Jr. was really unchallenged for a large portion of it, but back in the pack with some of those XGT cars, they were door-to-door for quite a long time, and there was really no chance to catch your breath. There is the hotel that is just on the driver's left side of turn 7.
Yep.
And I actually had an opportunity to eat dinner there last night. It is a great place.
Get down.
It is a great place to go grab a bite and, of course, grab a night's sleep.
Yeah, book early if you want to stay there when there's a race on.
Yes.
And forget it for the
Yes.
12 hours. There you go, One South Florida. That's his new sponsor, and that's the new color scheme, the orange and gray. And he'll be out as soon as he can. They help him get the doors off. But we'll see that smiling face of the 6-time Trans Am champion. He's going to go down in history as one of the greats, and I mean that's saying something with such a young man. But he's now up there.
He is. He's one of the most winning Trans Am drivers in history, and he's such a young guy. And you really gotta tip the hat to him, because it's tough to be mature to keep a race car on track at his age, let alone win championships consecutively.
Like I said, real inspiration to any
youngsters. Great way to
youngsters.
start the season. Tell me about that race.
Let's head down to Ben Seisel, who's got, it looks as though he's getting the helmet off, and we'll hear from him in moments' time. Here we go. So that's the scene from up above here for the top three, as all three cars now in victory circle and getting ready to enjoy the festivities of the podium and relax after a long 75 minutes in the hot sunshine here of Florida.
And with that, I am going to go back to the trailer and get ready for our TA2 race, which is coming up just after lunch.
Exactly that. Joe Stevens, my thanks to you. Best of luck today in TA2. And let's hope you get there. But I'll just go through the results so far. My thanks to Joe Stevens. Ernie Francis Jr. then of One South Florida Wealth Advisors takes that Ford Mustang to the win. Tommy Dreesy takes second place in the Lucas Oil Chevrolet Camaro. And it's Corvette. What a great way. And the script was written nicely. 3 different marks on the top 3. Amy Ruman in the McNichols Co. Chevrolet Corvette in third. And Hamed Al-Masoud in the La Vida Tequila Ford Mustang. That would be good if he wins one. We'll all have tequila. Simon Gregg in 5th place in the De Haag Motorsport Chevrolet Camaro. And then Eric Joyner wins the XGT Championship. XGT, our new category, and Joyner taking the win for the Porsche 911 GT3R. John Levy in 7th place in TA overall, but in 7th, just behind is XGT's Marc Montour in the Aston Martin Vantage GT3. Then Ken Thwaites in the Audi R8 LMS. And Kerry Hitt in the Cadillac CTS. Good to see the Cadillac still running. And then a little further down in SGT, it's Lee Saunders. Mark Bowden just behind him. Not the best of days for Mark, but he'll recover. He'll bounce back. Adrian Wolotowski in 13th place. And then leading the GT class, we didn't get a lot of chance to see them racing too much, but it was Stephen Davison taking his Aston Martin Vantage to a win in GTs. Plenty more action to come from both SVRA. We've got some fantastic cars here this weekend, no question about it. As always, Tony Perella putting a great field of cars together. So several different groups of cars will be in action, and Scott and Ed Conway will be guiding you through all the action from that as we look down on the podium for Trans Am TA. Also, if you do get the app, you'll get a chance to see the schedule for this weekend. Coming up, we've got a lunch break in a moment, but coming up, there's a fan walk here locally. That'll be followed at 1:25 local time. We're on Eastern time here in Florida by the TA2 feature race, and that's what Joe Stevens is about to get ready for. That'll be another 75 100-mile lap race, a 100-mile race, excuse me, and a 75-minute race. And then we have the Group 10 SVRAs at 2:40 local time and at 3:10 local time. That's when the historic Trans Am, and you don't want to miss that one. That's really the big one for the historics here this weekend. A really special field of drivers involved and cars involved from the era. So Ernie Francis Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the Trans Am Series
and here's
presented
Ben.
by Pirelli Podium,
Let's
head
down
hear
there
it for these drivers. Come on, that was hard fought. Sebring International Raceway at the Sebring Speed Tour with the GT, SGT, XGT, and TA class. We are going to start the celebrations and give out our Crystal Sensations awards and trophies in the GT class. So, I need, coming in third place, I need Tim Horrell. Where's Tim Horrell? This is where we need to hear the crowd. Come on, crowd. Where's Tim? Is Tim here? In second place in GT is Billy Griffin. Where's Billy Griffin? There we go. Come on there. Come on up. You can come up either side, Billy. And then in first place, keeping it consistent, is Steven Davison in that beautiful Aston Martin. Where's Steven? Come on up here. Nice job. Jump on up here, Billy. So Miles from Crystal Sensations is going to be giving out the trophies. He's second. Yeah, you need second. Good. All right, so Billy, I'm coming to you. What's it like to race here at Sebring International Raceway?
It's definitely the roughest racetrack that we race at. It's brutal out there. It's a lot of carnage. It's rough. It's a rough race out there.
Rough race is correct. Steven Davison, our champion from last year. You come out here and you start the season strong. Tell us about your race.
Well, I really appreciate, first of all, I have to thank Automatic Racing because I broke my car. So right now I'm on borrowed time, borrowed money, and a borrowed car. So thanks to them. Right, so great start to the season. Really appreciate Trans Am, and I love the crowd support. It's awesome.
Did you hear that crowd? He loves the crowd support. So let's get some shots of these guys. Stand up close. There we go. And then we're looking at Chris right here, this photographer. So Steven Davison, everybody wants to know, did you bring your borrowed car? Hey, Steven, did you bring your borrowed car in unscathed?
I did.
Nice. He says he did. Very good. Now we put on our Pirelli hats. We love our sponsors, Sunoco Race Fuel and Pirelli. And we get some shots with our photographers. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, GT, the start of the 2020 season at Sebring International Raceway. Crowd, we love you guys. Keep it up. Nice job. Uh-oh. This might be where you want to cover and protect that equipment as they go a little crazy. Nice. And ladies and gentlemen, they are going to go home smelling of champagne in their cars. I'm not sure that's a good thing. One more time for our GT class, Sebring International Raceway. Billy Griffin second, Steven Davison first. Now we go to the closely contested SGT class.
Coming in third with a lot of drama today that we'll explain is Adrian Lostowski in that beautiful black Ford Mustang. Where's Adrian? Here he comes. Adrian, jump up here. In second place, we need Mark Bowden. Where's Mark Bowden? And then in first place with this long-standing rivalry between the Fall Line guys is Lee Saunders. Where's Lee in that Dodge Viper? Woo, Lee's got some fans. I like that. All right, Miles is going to present the new Crystal. Can you hold that up for the crowd? Come on over here. Look at these trophies. These are amazing. Every year we get a different design. This may be one of my favorites. I love that. Adrian, I'll get you right up here. Mark, you're here. Lee, you're up there. All right, so I'm going to start with you, Adrian. We talked a little bit at the fan walk, but tell us about the drama you encountered this morning.
So we had a fire like 10 minutes before grid at a car, fuel in the car this morning. So we put that out, cleaned all the fire extinguisher stuff out of the car, vacuumed the car, spray detailed the car, got the car to the fan walk, and then we actually went racing today. And our car was a little better set up for a short run. You know, when we had those restarts, we were always good in a restart, but we weren't good for a long run today. So we had a third place finish, and we were able to avoid that wreck at the end. So nice.
I love it. You seem a little unhappy with a third.
No, we're okay. We're okay. You know, we're learning. It's our first race, and we're happy to be third today.
Nice. I love it. Thanks for bringing that out. Mark Bowden, I'm going to put you on the spot because I know that you hate being second to a Dodge Viper. Tell us about your race.
Well, it's been a tough weekend. We lost a transmission in the first test session, and thanks to some friends of ours, we went and got a car in Miami and got a transmission in our car, but didn't have a lot of time on track before that. Car was okay. Just a whole bunch of confusion there at the end of the race, and hoping Tim is all right. And I had a great time sitting in third watching Lee and Tim have a great battle, and it's very unfortunate to see his race end that way.
That it is. Mark Bowden, ladies and gentlemen. Now we go to Lee Saunders. Way to start the 2020 season. Here, you take the mic so I don't stand in front of people. They're glued together.
First of all, I hope and pray that Tim is okay. That was a terrible wreck, and hopefully he'll be okay. And hats off to the Fall Line guys. They hell of a team, super clean racers. They always race us very clean, beautiful cars, great drivers. Looked like it was going to be a shootout there in the end, and I was extremely worried because Tim was. We were trading the lead several times. He was just wearing me out, and Mark was right there too. I was scared we were going to go green again, and I'd be right back into the trap there. But it was just an awesome race. Hats off to my guys. Kevin, Jamie, Dylan, and Jeremy for a wonderful weekend. They did a great job getting the car ready. Thank you so much for Trans Am, and the Pirelli tires were strong the whole time. Thanks everybody, the fans coming out, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more, and I'm sure Mark will get the best of me more than I will him.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for, SGT. We've got Adrian Lostowski, Mark Bowden, and Lee Saunders. Nice job starting off. There we go. Let's get some photos, and we'll do the Pirelli hats. Chris, you good? The lovely Eric will exchange hats.
Let's do him before we do the champagne. Bring up Tim?
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right, one more time, guys. SGT at Sebring International Raceway. All right, and now we have a special Tim Horrell, who got third in GT. Tim, if you don't mind coming right up here. Tim, tell us about your race up there in GT.
It was a great race. Started off good and everything, and the restart, he passed me on the corner, Dave, and the rest of the race I started feeling like I was losing a little power, and it was just really frustrating. Had a good car all weekend, and for a den like this, it's really frustrating, like I said, but lots of positives and things I can take forward from it, and just come back strong next time.
So you're not happy with the podium finish?
I'm happy because I was here, and I'm happy that I did my best and everything, but I know I could do better.
Yeah.
So it's something I just learned from and move forward on.
Nice. Will you be back with the Trans Am Series?
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. I love it. Everybody give it up for Tim Horrell, also third place in the GT class. Nice. Now, Tim, you might want to move because you're going to get sprayed with some champagne. Yeah. In second place in that beautiful Aston Martin is Mark Montour. His first time with the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli. He puts his car on the pole, and then he finishes first. Eric Joyner, ladies and gentlemen. Nice job, everybody. Ken Twaits, your car looks fantastic. Tell us about racing it at Sebring.
Well, it's better to look good than to go fast, I guess, today. No, it was great. You know, I had a good start, and then I ran out of talent and ran off the road, so I threw it all away. But it was great, man. These guys had some really fast pace, and I was trying 100% the whole way. So wish it could have gone green the whole time. I probably still couldn't have caught them, though.
Nice.
Oh, great race.
He said great race. Ken Twaits, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Montour, whose son is going to be in the next race in the number 13 car. Tell us about your race out there.
Well, it's nice to be here, and I have great competitors that racing against, and it looks promising for the rest of the season.
Nice. So you're doing the season.
We will decide that at Road Atlanta, but most likely South Division, yeah.
Nice. I love it. Good stuff. So the XGT class is growing. Eric Joyner, here, you're going to have to take the mic from me. Tell me about your race.
Here, take my trophy.
All right.
I have to say this is the first time for me racing at Sebring. I've been here as a spectator. I've seen the track before. I spent hours on a simulator coming here, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get this down pretty quickly now. And I came here, and I was shocked. It's technical in the slow stuff, and it's extremely fast in the first turn and the last turn, and I was blown away. And it just, every lap, it was just learning and learning and learning. It is such an incredible track.
Thank you, Eric. There's your Crystal Sensations trophy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, first time I get to present the XGT class of 2020. Ken Twaits, Mark Montour, and Eric Joyner. An Audi, an Aston Martin, and a Porsche. You can't get better than that. They take off their Sunoco fuel hats, put on their Pirelli hats. Ken has to get the right fit. You know, he's an apparel guy. So one more time, ladies and gentlemen, Ken Twaits, Mark Montour, and Eric Joyner in the XGT class. That is going to be a class to watch this season. Oh, and wait, we're bringing champagne out. Careful. Oh, look at that. Oh, they're hazing the new guy. That's not fair. That's hazing. Nice job, you guys. That was really fun to watch. Hey, and I hope to see you guys at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in just a few weeks. They're losing things. Nice job. Give it up for the XGT class at Sebring International Raceway. Mark, nice job. You got to go watch your son now. And now, ladies and gentlemen, in the TA class, the 850 horsepower behemoths with no driver assistance. Coming in third place, our two-time champion, Amy Ruman. Where is Amy? Nice, Amy. I love seeing you up here. In second place, in that beautiful Lucas Oil Camaro, Tommy Dreesy. Where's Tommy? Here he comes. The Rockin' Moroccan coming out from the back. And then in first place, last year's champion. Where is Ernie Francis Jr.? Ernie Francis, come on up here. There we go, come on. Let me say this, Florida native, Ernie Francis Jr. Oh, not many flurry. Amy Ruman, I'm so excited to see you up here. Tell me about your race.
Oh, we started off pretty fast and had a good car at the beginning and then kind of faded in the middle, spun in some oil, and then they went to double yellow, and we were reliable and consistent today, so that's where we're at with this McNichols Corner Tech. Chevrolet Corvette was good, and sometimes you need that reliability and consistency to be up here, so we're just glad with everybody that came out today, watch us, and appreciate you. And we're happy with this third today. We'll take it. We'll make some improvements and see y'all at Road Atlanta.
Nice. I love it. Tommy Dreese. Never count Tommy Dreese out. Tell us about your drama and how in the world did you work your way up to second?
Well, before we started the race, my team always says which Tommy Dreese is going to show up. So the right one showed up. Yeah.
I hope you got that. Amy Ruman says I say that too.
So the patient Tommy came out. A little wise aggression. Ernie was fast right at the get-go on cold tires. He's really good. We got to figure out how to be a little bit quicker on the start. But we were behind. We had to use up the car a little bit. On the restart, I thought we had something going into turn one, but, it was just, we were happy to. We had little gremlins in qualifying yesterday. And then they kind of came up again, so we kind of babied the car. Had a good battle, kind of keeping distance with Andretti. Sorry that happened to him. And also Dyson, we want to beat these guys fair and square and not because of mechanicals. And I got to say something to the TA3, TA4 guys and girls, if there are any. You guys did a great job. I mean, the flow was good. There was one incident with a TA car and a Corvette, whatever. But overall, what a great, clean race. Amy, Ernie, champions.
Nice job, Tommy Dreese, ladies and gentlemen. You want to thank your sponsors?
Oh, yeah, Lucas Oil and Burton Racing. They gave me such a good car. I had so much car left at the end of the race. Little gremlin from yesterday kind of popped its head up, but those guys worked so hard. I mean, we blew something yesterday, and they stayed up, fixed that car from the handling to the mechanics to the boss, Claudio. Thank you very much. Lucas Oil Slick Miss, wicked quick, wicked fast.
Nice, I love it. And now we come to the champ, Ernie Francis Jr. Let me trade with you. I'm going to sell this on eBay real quick, and you tell us about your race.
Yeah, we had a great run out there. I think couldn't be a better result for us out here at our home track. Really love racing around this place. My whole team, they gave me a great car. This thing was fast right off the trailer. We had the pace to win this thing as soon as we unloaded the car. Can't thank everybody enough, all the fans that came out here. This is an awesome first weekend, first race weekend for 2020. Can't wait to get the rest of the season started. Really excited to have our sponsor out here, One South Florida Wealth Advisors. They brought their whole crew out here supporting us, and they've been here all weekend. It's been a great event, and can't wait to get to Atlanta.
Here you go. Let me give you that back. And the three of you will be at Atlanta, correct? Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for TA, Amy Ruman, Tommy Dreese, Ernie Francis Jr., Corvette, Camaro, and Ford Mustang on the top step at Sebring International Raceway.